thought it was solid. Today was first day kind of emphasizing the red zone, and plays were made on both sides. There's a bunch to learn from too. But the guys have been going. I appreciate their effort really throughout, and today was another solid day.
Have you scrimmaged yet?
We've done some live tackling. We haven't flat out scrimmaged. We're hopeful in the next couple of practices to get something done there.
How's your handling of that? You know, 'cause I know a lot of coaches lately have talked about minimizing the tackling. How do you approach that?
We try to approach it with making sure we have great practice habits where we're getting in a posture to make a tackle, but then not going to the ground. And guys have been doing a great job of that, man, because you do. You want to stay up. You want to stay healthy. At the same time, we're going to practice this game, and that's, live tackling some. And so there's a fine balance. We want to get a little bit more live done the rest of the spring.
This is what, week 3, so practice 7. I guess, have you seen, where are there areas you've seen most growth? And I know it's still early.
I know it is. I've seen some growth really across the board. I think about kind of where our secondary's at, and those guys are adapting to some new schemes, doing a good job. O-line, Jim does a good job of mixing a lot of guys at the O-line, different spots, so they're learning and growing there. We've been pleased with the understanding, kind of learning the receiver group in general. Brand new offense, a lot thrown at them. They've handled that well, and so there's been progress.
Coach, last week you and your staff hosted Horatio Williams and Horatio Williams Foundation. 40-plus coaches from the Metro Detroit area coming out. What was it like to make that grassroots connection, and how do you think that worked for you, your coaches?
It was great having them. They were here for all the practice, and then they'd be able to talk some football at the end of it. That's an important group, being that close to home, to campus, and we want to make sure we're making inroads there, and Horatio's been an awesome partner so far.
That's great. Thank you.
As far as I don't think we've asked you about the helmet technology.
Oh, yeah.
What's, I guess,
With you talking about the
being able
communication?
Yeah. I'm just wondering what your thoughts are on that. And
it's been,
quarterback.
I think they've liked it. I know Lindgren's liked it a lot to be able to communicate there, and a lot of calls and things. We haven't done a ton of it on the defensive side. We're going to try to get that going the next couple of weeks, but it's beneficial.
Is there somewhere scrimmage setting will help too, to sort of work out
Yeah.
some kinks and how do you anticipate that'll work?
Yeah, we got to kind of work through that because we haven't just flat out done a scrimmage where it's all completely game-like. We're hopefully get some of that done here in the next few days.
Is that something you can work on more in the summer, even when you're not scrimmaging, and not like just you're not
to an extent. I mean, we do script play, so we're off in the back. It's not like he's just talking to him the whole time. So simulating that is something we're working on each day. But a true game day atmosphere type, where scrimmages will be the next step on the communication.
Do you have a plan yet for what you want to do on the 20th in terms of either scrimmage or just kind of?
We definitely want to get some work done. Don't have the exact plan. Some of it does depend on the health. We talked about that per position, but we're going to look to have some fun, make it competitive, and put on a good show.
There's some tight ends to the program that have been in the program for a while and haven't gotten a lot of playing time. You getting some feelings and observations about some of those guys?
Yeah, really as a group, each of them have different days of making some plays. Obviously with Velling knowing the offense a little bit, he's been out there and helping those guys come along. That's going to be a group, especially if you get Parachek back. He hadn't been practicing, and so we feel like we got some depth there.
And Nichols in there, and Masunas and some others.
Masunas made a couple of plays last Saturday on over routes. So, yeah, we've got some guys.
What do you rely overall on the players who came with you from Oregon State as you go through installs to kind of help their teammates?
Say it again.
The players that came with you, how much do you kind of rely on them to help their teammates kind of with the installs?
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, we're coaches for a reason, so across the board. But those three guys, kind of, especially on the offensive side, I think they've been beneficial for each group.
They serve as kind of interpreters between what they do.
To an extent, yeah, to an extent. But I will tell you, this whole group, I've enjoyed watching them dive in. Football means a ton to them. They're wearing out in the meetings, digesting it all, going to practice. It's a fun group to coach.
How much do they kind of, I guess, how much do you put your philosophy in terms of teaching to them up front? Do you kind of, or do you kind of wait to back end that a little bit more?
Well, I got some big picture philosophical thoughts on teaching that the staff hears, and then that filters down to the players. But we got a big time staff. These guys know what they're doing in regards to teaching experience. Been around, been in the big leagues, won big games before. So I haven't had to do too much with this staff.
One of the other big picture things we talked about the radio is the expansion to 120 roster spots. Just how do you envision that working, and how to say as a former walk-on guy, is it just more opportunities for guys like
I
that
think
to
that
make a
more opportunities, and again, the way this game is physical and reps and things, and having a number that you can go through summer, in August practice with as many as possible.
With Aiden, how, progression in week 3 of how have you seen him adapting to, just obviously
Yep.
changes?
Yep. Yeah, I think he's been solid. The offense part hasn't been hard on him, but just getting timing with those guys, he's working at it. Yeah, I think he's done solid so far.
What's the biggest things you want to work on over the next, before you get to that spring show? What do you want this team to do most?
Well, we got to put him in getting that in a live scrimmage situation where you have some consequence for bad plays, that type of thing. We still have to emphasize a couple scenarios in the game, 2-minute, gotten down to the goal line, some short yardage we haven't gotten to yet. And then you want to see progression, right? The install is still more to come, and how they absorb that and continue to execute.
You notice difference between Aiden Childs now and maybe last August when he was brand new?
Oh,
What
yeah.
are you seeing?
I mean, it's a lot different. He's so much more comfortable. Physically, he's bigger. He's about 20 pounds heavier. And so that's a difference. I mean, that group in general, Tommy's been making some plays. The 2 young freshmen have made some plays. We feel like that group's been working really well together.
Wide receivers, any names you want to mention?
Gates has made some plays throughout. Montori had a couple of today. He continues to show up. Cadillac. We're pleased with where that group is progressing.
Who's Cadillac?
Devontae Brown.
I'm wondering,
I didn't know that.
now that you've kind of had a few weeks to kind of see, where does the talent level of the group that you inherited kind of measure up to what you thought it would be from what you guys did in the film?
Yeah, I don't know if I came in with a huge expectation one way or the other. Pleased at the work ethic, and you're always trying to add to your talent and really be a place of development where the talent's where it's at and they continue to develop and get better, and I think we're on that progression.
You have a guy like Tanner Miller who's already has the familiarity with Aiden Childs and knows the offense. How much does that just aid in helping other guys be able to get up to speed and build that trust with the quarterback?
I'm sure it helps. You might have to ask some of those other old linemen or Jim himself, but that group as the old line have been working. This is a brand new scheme. We're asking them to do some different things, and they're definitely working at it.
How do you think you guys as a staff have been working together? Obviously people that and also new
Yeah.
folks coming in. How's that meshing?
I think about the
transition
defensive side in particular on that, and I think Rossi and that crew has been working well. They got some good minds in the room, and so obviously Rossi has a system that he's been around, but some nuggets and new things coming from other places. It's gone well.
How do you guys, health-wise right now? Are you feeling
Yeah, solid. We haven't had an injury that's all of a sudden that the guy's done for the season to an extent. We definitely got bumps and bruises, and we're trying to be smart with that. This is spring ball, but we feel solid where the team's at.
Yeah, we always ask this when a new coach comes in, but what's your philosophy on talking about the injuries, like either
Yep.
now or during the season? Like, do you talk about a guy that's out for the year, or do you just?
What we've done in the past, and this I'm not going to make promises, but if it's a long term, we're going to let you know. But I'm not going to get here each day and go through an injury report.
Not until Saturday when it.
Yeah, we're not forced to. Or,
I
yeah.
mean, that's going to be a difference for you. But you guys didn't have that. in the
Yeah,
past.
I got to still learn that on the Big Ten side, what exactly the protocol is. Yeah.
So Schuster, you brought him in with some experience, expecting to see
Snapping
that.
well. Yeah.
And-
You're talking about Tommy?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's giving you he looks like an experienced guy out there.
He does, man. He's poised, made some throws, understand the offense, been smart with the ball, hasn't turned the thing over very much at all. So we're pleased with him so far.
How about your running back group? I don't know if I've asked you about that. Just what's that whole group looking like?
Yep, all of them getting carries, and which has been great. I think Nate stood out, and he's in great shape. He knows what he's doing in regards to that. Berger's had some good carries. Mangum's had some good carries. Prim's coming along, but we still got a ways to go there.
We talked about specialists last week too. I mean, how much as a coach does having a kicker and punter established coming in help kind of
Well,
ease your mind?
we punted today, and Eckley was dropping bombs. I mean, that guy has a big leg. So we're pleased kind of, not just him, but all that whole group. I mean, even on the field goal side, we've done that almost every day, and our percentages makes is way up there. So, with Kim and Eckley being veterans, I think the snappers, helped as well.
Last week, did you guys get them out there in that heavy wind?
We got twice out there. We went out there today for part of practice to do the punt, and that's when Eckley was not just dropping bombs, but the direction of it was awesome.
All right, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. We'll see you.
Bring everybody else in here shortly.